what is this podcast about? It probably would help if you don't chew into the mic.
My name is Libby.
My name is Luke.
In this new episode.
This
new season.
And we are going to be focusing completely on weddings.
We are, in fact, the Wedding Pirates.
There's no other podcast like this. I've looked. I've checked.
And we have a cat. Her name is Stella.
We want to share all the secrets when it comes to weddings.
The one where we talk. Wedding edition.
How did we get here? You know, we can build up from our childhoods, like why we're in the wedding industry, which I think it goes all the way back to that. But I think a pivotal point of making us decide that we wanted to be in the wedding industry was our own wedding. You want to talk about maybe some things that...
Well, I know that from a very early stage of life, I have always loved weddings. They've always just kind of been something I enjoy attending, talking about. As a 5-year-old, I have pictures. Recently, I've been seeing family, and we've taken out wedding albums. And in the background is always me sitting and watching and looking at the bride like, she's a princess, and she's beautiful in a white dress. And I remember always dreaming about my own wedding since I was 5 years old. And so I think that spark of weddings just kind of hit me at a very young age. And growing up, I always thought it'd be so fun to be a wedding photographer, but I was always so nervous that I wouldn't be able to do a good job. And so I grew up thinking, like, what do I want to do for a living growing up? And I always thought, I had to have, like, a responsible job and go to school for something specific. So I went to school for education and just learned that I do not have a passion for education. I have a passion for kids and for making sure that kids are on the right track in life and just, like, helping kids through life and through problems and all that. But that wasn't gonna lead me to becoming a good teacher, I don't think. And so in high school, I actually wrote a paper my senior year.
I love this story.
I wrote a paper on like the pros and cons basically of two different things. So I wrote a paper on going to school for education or just going right into photography and getting into the wedding industry with photography. So what were the pros and cons of doing both sides?
And what's really funny is that, like, your demographic, your age, how old do you mind disclosing your age?
I am 18. No,
Sure.
I'm 29.
That would look bad on me. So what I think is interesting is your age group, our age group, just of millennials that had that same question. Do I go to college right now, or do I, start doing family photos, senior photos, and, because I've been taking pictures, I have a camera. Back then it was like a Rebel, like everybody had a Rebel, like a Canon.
Oh,
whatever.
it was like a Rebel stage? Or
No. I mean, like the camera, everybody had that. Anybody.
Well,
that
I
it
had
was
a Fujifilm.
Yeah, you had a Nikon.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you had the Fujifilm
Yeah.
first? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I
That's
didn't know
what
that.
Dad got me for Christmas.
Yeah, so, like, but my point is that, like, I feel like there was a lot of college students that hit that pivotal point of, do I become a photographer or do I go to college? And a lot of those girls and a lot of those guys became photographers, and now you see them 10 years later. We've been in this for 5 years, but now, so you just got into it 5 years late. So you would have been exactly where those other people are. But no, I just think that's interesting. But then again, I don't think we would have met if you would have said yes to weddings too early, or just yes to photography too early.
I don't know. Could have changed the whole trajectory of my life, but who knows? Anyways, so I never thought that I was ever really good enough for the wedding industry or being a wedding photography. I didn't enjoy, like, the pressure. I didn't know if I was going to enjoy the pressures of a wedding photographer, because you literally have to be on your toes
All the time.
all day, every second, because you don't want to miss any moments. So I was just starting to school for education, and I graduated in 2016 with my bachelor's degree in education, and then I realized
You got cum laude.
So thank you. Yes, I did.
You're so smart.
Yeah.
No, that was just me that went wild in the crowd.
Okay. So, anyways, I did my student teaching, and then I realized I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, and we're just not gonna. Yeah. So, fast forward, multiple jobs later, and a few years later.
Both of us.
2 years later, I think it was. We both had multiple jobs. Luke finished school, and then I was like, babe, I really want to be a photographer. Like, I really want to be a wedding photographer. And then he made my dreams come true.
Well,
when you wish upon a
stop. No, don't copyright. Don't do that.
Sorry.
Well, I think it's interesting though, because I describe it like, because I had a lot of the same fears, but my fear was mainly just only owning a business and consistency in income, because that's something that I saw my parents struggle with, and my dad had a solid job. Like he was part of a union, he was a carpenter, like he was good at what he did, and he can do it really well, and he had a lot of work ethic, and I still saw my parents struggle financially. Granted, it was through 2008 when I saw that, but so I guess like that instilled, I'm afraid to own my own business, you know, because it's, if a consistent job where you get paycheck to paycheck isn't consistent, then why would relying on consumers be, you know, consistent? So I just thought I'm just going to pursue a job, because that I can't imagine that having a business will be easier.
Yeah.
But that was all based on fear, and that was something I had to get over. And I tell, like, the way I tell the story is like, you helped me get over that fear. It wasn't just you coming to me and saying, I want to be a photographer, it's my dream. It's you coming to me and saying like, hey, you don't have to be afraid, you know, because no matter what, you can lose your job or you can lose your business. It doesn't matter. The point is that you just always survive. It doesn't matter what you do.
Aw, I helped you make your dreams come true.
Well, you helped our dreams make it. You helped our dreams make too.
Yes.
But my story is like a little bit different, because I grew up in the wedding industry, and I saw my mom, well, because she was a coordinator in like Chicago, and I just saw her struggle, and I saw her frustration, and she just hadn't, because you have brides, she just worked with a lot of difficult brides, and this was very early on in the wedding industry. Like, videography was just taking off. You know, if you got your wedding video, it was because the church that you got married at had cameras installed in the early 2000s. And that's why like wedding videos took off. It's because churches had cameras, because we were putting it on TV on a channel that nobody's watched. And that was like that was your first wedding video. Whereas in photographers, and it was still film, like all like the early 2000s, you were barely touching digital yet. You know, the first Canon digital camera was still coming out. We were still saying wow to like instant, you know, those tiny, did you ever see one of those cameras that like you take the picture? It was like a mini Polaroid, and it spit out a little tiny photo that was like an inch tall and an inch wide. And it developed.
No.
I had a friend that had one, and we thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Like, oh my word, this is cool. Amazing. It is cool. One. Yeah, they don't make them anymore. You can't find them. They were long and skinny. It looked like a cucumber. Yep. Don't try and picture it. But they never worked. The lighting was always terrible, but it was just cool. And so anyway, like I grew up under that, like watched my mom go through that pressure. Watched her, like, you know, the bride would say, I want this, this, and this. And mom would say, okay, well, that doesn't fit your budget. Are you ready to fund that? And she'd be like, well, no. Like, okay, well, then you can't have it. And then the bride throws a fit. So I watched my mom do that over and over and over again. And then she eventually just wore it down, and she's like, I just can't do this anymore. So she just stopped, which I didn't blame her. So I just thought, I'm never going to do weddings. I wanted to be on like a movie set. That was what I thought I was going to do. But, and then like my mentor taught me how to edit, like starting at 9 years old, he was filming weddings just because that's just what was available to film. Like if you, as a creator, you just look for something to film, and weddings were taking off and wedding videos were taking off. So he filmed weddings on VHS tapes and he taught me how to edit them. And then eventually I had to learn how to put them on DVD. And that's where I was. And around 17, I kind of fell away from it. And I didn't come back into it till I met you.
Yeah. So we started, our photography business was kind of like a supplementary thing at first. Like, we didn't quit our jobs and then all of a sudden go into wedding photography or whatever. So we started doing photography together. So you would do photography and I would also do photography. And our first wedding was $300.
Mm-hmm.
We did it for $300. And
our camera was worth like triple that at the time.
yeah, we had a fancy camera because we took it to China with us.
Yeah.
And that's how we got started. Actually, that's how I realized that I really wanted to get into it. Was we went to China for 5 weeks and I brought this really fancy camera with that we had just bought.
Yeah, we saved up for that camera. It was an X-T10, the Fujifilm X-T10 that had literally just hit. Like, it just came out. You know, it didn't have an aperture ring or anything. It had a detachable lens, but no power extender, like nothing. It was just, but it was a beast of a camera and it was super nice. We're like, wow, these are the new cameras? Because what we have before that, you had your Nikon that was okay. You know, it was just a camera, but it had a fixed lens. Pretty sure.
I don't remember what I had after my Fujifilm. I don't remember why I got rid of my old Fujifilm my dad got me for Christmas. But yeah, so we had that nice Fujifilm. We went to China with it, and I just really enjoyed capturing the culture and the life in China, and like capturing our friends that we had made in China and stuff. And I was like, wow, I actually really, really love this, and I love being creative with it.
And we both came because you took some photography classes. Like, you were into photography.
I took one photography class in college.
Yeah, and then
it was
you
like
were
an
into
introduction.
photography like throughout high school, and like you were
in college.
You enjoyed taking photos, and I enjoyed taking photos and video, and like we both had that subconscious skill. We just kind of put it away because we thought like we can't make a living off this. It'll just be a hobby. So then I think that we came back from China and we looked at the pictures and people were like, these are really good. These are like actually good photos. We're like, oh yeah, like it's just a photo. We just, you just set it up and people are like, I can never take a good photo. We're like, it's just a photo. And then we realized, oh, people actually can't there are some people who actually don't know how to take good photos.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's where we're like, we can do this ?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we thought about it for a year, I think it was at that point, and then the following year we started our business. And so then, yeah, we just...
But I do want to talk about how our own wedding kind of fueled that. That kind of planted the seed of distaste, I think. Because we had a professional photographer, and we didn't have a videographer, just because we couldn't afford it. I think I got quoted $1,200 for videography. I'm like, our whole wedding was $4,000. No. That's a whole quarter or more. If it's $3,000, like that's a lot. That's a big chunk of the wedding. Like, we just can't do that. We just don't have it. It's just not possible. So we literally just asked someone to hit the record button, and they forgot. For our ceremony, and they forgot.
Yeah. And
then we got our photos back, and for the time, like, our photos were good, but we hi Stella Rose, come here, you must sit. For the time they were good, but I just remember the one thing, there was the umbrella, the light diffuser was in half of our family photos.
Yeah, it just like was up in the top hand corner, like just chilling there. Like, why?
It's like, whoa.
Did he capture this in the photos?
And this was like, and I don't want to complain because he did it for a really good price, because we went to the same church as him, so he wanted to help us out, which was really nice. We have really high quality photos. We could definitely still put those on canvases, and they would be perfect. They're really high quality. But just as a professional, even if you're just doing it at a discount price, if that gets caught, like if a light diffuser or like I can't remember what it was. Was it a diffuser or a
No, it was
umbrella?
like an umbrella.
It was an umbrella. Yeah, and it was just, part of it was just right there in the corner. Like, and it wasn't like not noticeable. Like, we noticed it right away, and we weren't doing weddings for a living.
Right.
Like, we looked at it, we're like, what in the world? And I don't know, I was super unhappy with our family photos.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I think not knowing the wedding industry at that point, I didn't really know what I could ask and what I could uh, request. So I just kind of let the photographer do his thing because I was like, oh yeah, you do this on a regular basis, like I trust you. And like, I guess I wasn't guided through things that could happen. I was just put into situations of
Right.
what I was like. He just did whatever he wanted.
Which was fine because I
Yeah.
still love a lot of the photos.
Yeah. I love the photos of you and I. Like,
Yeah.
especially like the portraits of you and I outside. Like I love those. Those are super fun. But like the rest of the day, like I wasn't asked. I didn't even know that there was options for different things. Like I wanted. Thinking back on it, I did want pictures of me with my bridesmaids and my groomsmen and you outside, like our entire bridal party.
Yeah, we didn't get any total.
I wanted pictures of
Yeah.
all
All us
10 of
together.
us outside in the snow and with my nieces and nephew and you and I and like my nieces and my nephew with you and I, and we didn't get any of those. And so it's like nowadays I think that fueled me into how I go into a wedding day now, because I do ask the bride and groom a lot of what they want and I give them options of what they want. Like, did you know that this is an option? Did you know that you can have this if you want it? And we say like our brand is like very much of like, we are for the rebels, and if you want to do something that's like
Super
quote
out there.
unquote weird on a wedding day, like taking shots for your unity ceremony, like
We've seen that a few times.
yeah, and that's totally okay. Like
Yeah.
we are all for the different and the weird and the unusual on wedding days, and
Yeah.
there is no rule book to follow per se on a wedding day. And so we're all for like pushing brides and grooms to do whatever it is that they want, even if
Yeah.
they might be getting some flack for it from
Right, because
families.
you're always going to have family or your maid of honor or best man or somebody has an outside opinion. Like when you say, "Oh man, I want to ride in a carriage, like with a horse, to my ceremony," which I've seen that a couple times,
Right.
and like you're always going to have like bridesmaids like, "Oh, that's so tacky," or, "Oh no, that's not. No, why would you do that? That's so extra." Like it doesn't matter what she thinks. It's not her day.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. You don't need your bridesmaid's opinion. And to be honest, if she's giving your opinion, then boot her. Like I don't. that's just the pirate in me. Like I was like, whatever. You got an
Well,
opinion.
there's
Yeah.
opinions if it's wanted, and then there's unwanted opinions.
Right.
But no, we just for our wedding day, like there was just a lot that could have happened, and if I would have known that there was options, and if I would have had a list of things written down for him to go through, like I would have been a lot more happy with
Yeah.
my photos. But
We didn't
I
have
didn't
a-
even have options.
Or a family shot list. I mean, to be honest, like if he we did get what we pay for. I think the price tag matched what we got.
Yeah.
Honestly, but how much was like it in total? Was it?
Our entire wedding.
No, in the photographer, because that was a big chunk.
Yeah, it was $800.
$800. Like, and for those listening, if you think like, whoa, that's expensive, no, it's not. That is crazy cheap. If you can find, like, there's people out there right now, like when you first start and you're doing photography and videography, husband wife team, if you're doing those kinds of packages, I've seen them for as cheap as $1,200. Like that's $600 per service. That's pretty low. Like you're not making a living off of that.
You can't survive off of that.
Yeah, anybody that has prices that low, that they're advertising, like I see a paid advertisement for that, I know that this either isn't full time or you're putting out really low quality and you're doing it really fast, and you have a whole like just group of photographers that are just working hourly. Like you're a corporation, you're not an artist. You're just pushing things out if your prices are that low. But in this case, his prices for weddings during that time,
for a wedding, and he gave it to us for $800.
He gave it to us for for $800, and his normal prices were $3,000 for a wedding. Now, for 2016, that was pretty high. That was like the top. Now I would say like the top one photographer team, like he would be equivalent to like a $6,000 photographer now. That's probably more. If you're paying more than that for one photographer, I have questions. Like, did you do Shaquille O'Neal's wedding or what? Or did you do Kardashian's wedding? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But and that's honestly what we're gonna unwrap. A lot of these things that we're touching on, like we're gonna unwrap that throughout this season, is the honest things about a wedding and breaking down the cost and breaking down the real questions that brides have. Not the what do I wear, and like you have designers and you have coordinators and you have planners and you have all these people that can answer all these questions, but there's nobody else answering real life situations on a wedding day. You can plan all the things, do all the things, but if like just the real life situations that are outside of your plans that you don't plan, and it happens all the time, you need to realize that even though it's all written on paper, there's going to be something in the day on a wedding day that will not go according to plan. It's just inevitable. That's why like brides are like, oh my goodness, we're 5 minutes behind. Is it okay? Like, it's fine. This happens at every wedding. It's okay.
We've been 30 minutes behind on a wedding day, and I've been able to catch us up to the timeline. So it's like, yeah.
Remember that time you whipped through those, just want to touch on this real quick, but you whipped through those family photos at the Liriodendron Mansion, name drop. You whipped through those photos like so fast, and those were big. That was a big family shoot where you had like, I think you were maybe 20 minutes behind, and
I wasn't 20 minutes behind.
Oh, everybody else was. You were put 20 minutes behind because of somebody else's decision on the day, and I don't remember what it was.
Well, the bride and groom hadn't put like eating snacks after the ceremony into the schedule, and so that ate into family photos, which then ate into bridal party photos. So I wasn't 20 minutes behind.
No,
I was pushed 20 minutes behind off schedule, and then the coordinator was like, hey, we need to get these people in the venue to start getting dinner ready in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I
so
was like,
that's how much time you had for family and for bridal party.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make this happen, but I'm going to try. If as long as people cooperate and they listen to me, but they're going to have to stop eating their food now, and we're going to have to make this happen. So
and
I
did it.
Yeah.
The wedding coordinator left, and she came back and she said, how are we doing? We're like, we're done. What? And those were really good photos. So that was a really good wedding album. Like that was a really baller wedding, and we rushed through the family photos and bridal party photos, and they all still stand up. They're all really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So at the end of each episode, I want to do something. I want to do maybe like a quick crazy story at the end of each wedding.
Quick crazy story.
I mean, maybe that was our quick crazy story at the end of that episode. Like just an experience that we've had, that we've been under pressure and we've pulled through, or something that like we walked away like, oh my word, don't ever let this happen. Just like a cringy story or a victory story, because there's a lot of every single moment, every single wedding has a story, like where something happened and we were like, what the fuck? So that's something that you can look forward to at the end of each episode. I would say that was a good story to start out. That was a very mellow one.
Okay. I definitely have some in mind, but I will save the juicy ones.
Yeah, save the juicy ones. Yeah, but we are the Wedding Pirates, and this is the podcast called The One Where We Talk, because we have our bus page, we have our photography page and videography page, and we have our website and our YouTube channel. And so
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
And so we started a podcast, and this is The One Where We Talk.
Thank you for listening, and
have a wonderful day.